We are live. We are live. We are live. Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome to another amazing episode of The Mix Up. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time it is where you are, but that time it is where we are. And it is time for your favorite show with your favorite people talking about some of your favorite stuff. We've got another amazing sponsor today. We've got an amazing announcement today as well. We've got, I think, one of the most amazing spaces happened last night between our guy, Donald J. Trump, and his Lord and Savior, Elon Musk. Not smoking chicken fish, but Elon Musk. And man, it was an amazing space. I mean, for starters, all I have to say is David, tampons, 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 tampons. The biggest hit on Poly Market
K2,
by
I
far.
told you, don't fade the tampon, K2.
You should have bet
I
on
mean,
that one too.
It was. I mean, here's the thing. I spent more time researching why tampon even had a line on it, and then all of a sudden he's like, Elon, tampons, tampons. I was like, what are you talking about? Honestly, like
All right.
listening to
Look,
that entire
let me
conversation.
actually give you some of the alpha on that, and it's something that I picked up from sports
Okay.
betting for a while. There's always a bunch of high line favorites. Like a lot of the ones that I put on were, they'll pay out 60% on the dollar. They'll pay out between 40 and 70% on the dollar. And then there are some other ones. There were three that were just 5-1 long shots. Usually in a big event, at least one of the long shots will hit. When it comes to baseball, a certain amount of underdogs that are big plus money always win. Same thing with every other sport. So I looked at the three that were a 5-1 payout, and I was like, you know what? If tampon hits, I get extra value because it's dope and lit to talk about. So I just went with it.
Oh man, it was absolutely insane. I mean, here's the thing. To me, that honestly, like a lot of that conversation. Remember, Elon was like, "I want to make sure that I use the word conversation so they know that it's not scripted." It sounded like two drunk friends just belly up to a bar, hammered, drunk, like talking over one another. Like I remember when they were talking about immigration. And he's like, Elon, it's way worse than that." And he was like, "You're right. It's the whole Earth, Donald. The whole earth is coming through the Mexican border." And I'm like, oh my God, this is like, it sounds like David and I talking at some sort of like, David, you don't understand. You don't
K2,
understand. He's
planet
like,
Earth.
Kyle,
I
it's
mean,
the whole
that's a
universe.
lot of people. I mean, I don't know if they can all fit.
Absolutely. But it was informative. I know people in crypto Twitter, we didn't get what we wanted. We didn't get the Bitcoin. We're going to pay the national debt with Bitcoin. But, next time, like we said, I don't think Donald Trump knows as much about Bitcoin as he leads on, but that's okay. He's still the crypto president until he's not. And so, what is incredible, though, is like, thankfully, I was one of the like early people into the spaces. So like when everyone was like, we can't get in, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm just chilling, just me, K2, Donald, Elon, like we're just talking. We were just talking, setting things up. It was no big deal. Random coffee shop conversation. But apparently, my guess is that the European Union was just like, no, we're not going to have this, and then they're just trying to DDoS that, which is pretty crazy. I was like, oh man, hey, no collusion happening here. What was the most wild thing about this is that for the very first time, I've never even seen this before. Kamala Harris and her camp is losing their mind over this. They're like, oh yeah, on the platform that Elon Musk owns and spreading misinformation. I was like, do these people understand that like all the news organizations are privately owned? Like, it's like, what? Are they talking like we're dumb? So I thought that was actually pretty crazy, but it's amazing to watch a hack happen in real life. I don't, whoever was doing the hacking, I bet you that they didn't really understand that Elon was about to make them famous.
You think that
Normally
really
these things
happened,
happen
or you
behind the
think
scenes.
Elon was just saying that? Like someone was really
No, I mean,
trying to hack it and make sure that we didn't get to hear Donald
Elon
Trump?
is not that big. Okay, now here's the thing. If if Donald Trump owned X and Donald Trump was interviewing Donald Trump, he'd be like, they're trying to hack me. The deep state, they're trying to hack me. They're trying to take me down. It's Russia. Like Sleepy Joe, Kamala, like they're trying to hack me right now. This is the left. Like this is like that would be how it went down. But Elon sitting there is like rockets. And that's exactly like how that would go down. And so I don't think like Elon is as straightforward as it gets. Like he genuinely remember what we said yesterday is it's just like you had, over the top Donald Trump and autistic Elon. And I think there were a few times where like the AI in Elon's head started to break because like Donald was talking and Elon's like, eh, eh. But it ended up being pretty good. Like it was a good conversation. He asked a lot of really cool questions, and Elon was generally inquisitive. So I thought that was, it was largely kind of like what you expected about Donald, but hearing Elon press him on certain things, because Donald he's articulate, he's all of these things, right? And so he's not going to necessarily let someone kind of force him into a conversation he doesn't want to go down. But I think Elon did a good job of asking questions, and the fanboy sessions between Donald and Elon was really cool. I liked when Elon kind of asked for a job. He's like, I think I could help with the budget. Like he's like talking about like that. He could just like, all of a sudden he's like squirrel. Or he's like, yeah, Elon and the cabinet. Rockets.
Could be his
And
entrance
so,
into politics, by the way.
you know what? I think Elon in politics would just be wild. Honestly, wild. I would actually want to see Elon be like the press secretary. Like, could you just imagine him fielding questions from the press and he's like, "Go fuck yourself." Go fuck
I think
yourself. Was
that's
that
what we
clear?
need. K2, that's actually the kind of leader that we need.
I thought, I think that's kind of crazy. But, we've got a little bit more news to talk about. We got Three Arrows Capital is filing a $1.3 billion claim against Terraform Labs. Now, isn't that rich? You've got Three Arrows Capital who goes down because when they went bankrupt, managing all of everyone's money, like now they're like, hey, you, Terra, like you're like, wow, like what is this like scam versus scam? Like this is wild. So we'll see what comes of that. I don't know if it's going to be anything much. Hey, you know what? We've got Ethereum, $155 million of inflow into their ETFs. So does that mean we're back? Like, baby, we're back. Like, let's do that thing. I don't know what will come with that. So, hey, you know what? Novatech, you guys, the SEC charged Novatech operating a $650 million pyramid scheme. So does that mean they launched a meme coin? What meme coin did Novatech launch? Because we know that all meme coins are pyramid schemes. And so we just need to, Florida based, go figure. So let's dig more into
No,
that.
they're not
But
pyramid
hey,
schemes.
David,
They're Ponzi's. Clear different. Ponzi's are bullish.
Oh, more refined. All right. So it's just like Ponzi schemes are more Bernie Madoff. Pyramid schemes are so like 80s and 90s. I got you selling microwaves and toasters. So Polymarket and Perplexity, AI driven betting
K2, I
insights.
love
So, all right.
Polymarket. I love Polymarket.
It was a big night for Polymarkets, man. It was a big night for, and then, hey, Trump meme coins. I can't wait to talk a little bit more about that one. We kind of called it. Pump Fund was going to be firing away. That's a 10,000 coins made. 10,000 Pump Fund coins made. Unbelievable. Hamster Combat supposedly rejecting venture capital money. I'm not surprised. Remember, the guy who owns Hamster Combat has money. Like he's a known successful Russian entrepreneur. So
I mean,
I
they
can't
turned down
stop.
that VC funding, and I think it was a lot of money. I mean, in Hamster Combat's position, they could probably pull in 20, 50 million bucks if they wanted to.
Right. Absolutely. So as someone who has raised a lot of money in venture capital and helped raise a lot more money for other people in venture capital, what like all of these venture capital funds, like we've got all the connections, we can do it. Like they literally pitch you Donald Trump style as to why you should take their money. And then the second that like you need them, they're like, oh yeah, like our marketing guy's on vacation forever. And you're like, what the hell's going on? Like, yeah, we've got really good exchanges, like really good connections with exchanges. And then it's just like, hey, this is my group. Bye. And like, what? So kudos to Hamster Combat for not doing that. Like, if you don't need to take the money, don't take it. If you do, everyone has their own reasons for taking venture capital money, vaya con Dios in terms of what happens after that. And so good on Hamster Combat. Keep fighting the good fight. I heard, it's funny. I think, David, you tried to tell me that Hamster Combat was getting footed a little bit because they took money from KOLs. and then they gave money back to KOLs, and then I just lulled
Yep. Yep.
when
That was
they're
it.
yeah, like, oh wow, KOLs are flooding a 300 million player project. Oh, come get me, Ansem.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's
Like
that, like, all right, one thing that I saw, I do understand why. Like, one of the posts was something along the lines of someone saying they invested between either 2 or 3 thousand bucks, and they were due to get 800 grand. I mean, hearing something like that, I understand it from a company's
well,
point of view, because that seems like a situation where they may have brought in 200-300K, and they stand to pay out like, I don't know, what is that, like $50 million or
so,
something crazy?
but it happens though. It happens though. Like I had that same thing happen with Gaiman, whatever you want to call it. So like I seeded the project a pretty decent sized check 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And then all of a sudden, less than a week prior to their launch, they changed the valuation and all of this stuff. They were set to hit like a 30x from where my investment round was at. And then they came back to all of the investors and they're just like, you can either accept half of an allocation or you can take your entire allocation and put it in a round that's like 8 times the size of what you came in at. And I'm like, what are you talking?
Does
I
that
literally
happen a
gave you
lot?
money
Like, is
three
that
years ago.
is that a common thing?
A lot. Okay, to preface, a lot. No, no, it's definitely not the norm. By all means, it's not the norm. Does it happen? Does it happen frequently enough to where you're just like pissed off? But like, you know what I'm saying? Like they made a pivot, things changed. I get it. There's just where do your morals and your ethics lie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, something like
I don't know.
that. I don't even want to get into any of these KOL rounds anymore.
And the thing is, though, is that it becomes a leverage game, right? So even though myself, other VCs and angels were like upset at this development, what are you going to do? They had a very new product. They had brought on new investors. Like they had leverage. You know what I'm saying? Like they had leverage.
No, they
And the same
do,
thing goes
but
with Hamster
from
Farms.
a KOL's perspective, or someone who's investing in a lot of these rounds, a lot of them are going to be losers. Like, that's how the game works. VCs look at it the same
Right.
way, and you want those few winners that you do get into to at least make up for some of those losses. And when you see something
Yeah,
like this,
100%.
it makes it hard to think that's going to happen.
You're right. But man, business is a cruel mother, man. Business is a cruel, cruel mother. It's just, you know what? Like again, like everyone has a different sense of like moral compass and ethics they operate under. Um, does it suck? Yeah. Does it happen? Yeah. Does my heart go out to them? Right. Yes. I've been on that end of the table. But it's business. Like
It is. I mean, it.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
now I think that makes it even more important that they do something really good for the community. Like, if you're getting all of this hate from one side, you got to make sure that you take care of your player base.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So, we'll dive into it. We dive into it. We've got some amazing guests today. We've got the guys from Pog Digital here. I don't Pogs, man. Like when I saw this, and I'm like, they're reviving like Pogs, the collectibles. Man, I remember like the Poison Slammers and all this kind of stuff. Man, it was my mom hated that shit because whenever she'd be cleaning the house and they'd be like under the couch and they'd be in the couch and they'd be in pockets and you put them through the washer. I mean, they were everywhere, but they were a large part of K2's, um, you know,
Hey, too, I still
childhood.
got Pogs. I got a shoebox full of them somewhere.
Dang. All right. I like that. But anyway, so David, let's dive into it. So, and also, Kyler, Pog intern, this, we want to hear what you think about all this stuff. So, like, did you watch or not watch? Did you listen to Elon and Donald speak yesterday? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I listened only for 30, 45 minutes. Just, was the online muted with everybody else, just listening to nothing for, 30 minutes. And then when they started talking, I had like 30, 40 minutes of it and had to go. But I think the intern, did you hear any of it?
So I have my one stance on all things. Like I love to get
Ooh,
on the degens, and I avoid politics. That's my end game. So I read like some of the briefs and stuff. I try to stay objective on it and just trying to get Like if he said crypto or anything like that, that affects me. So then I looked for those buzzwords, and it sounded like we missed that opportunity in there. But yeah, it's something that leads to all the degenning, all the pump fun, and all that. So it's something that you got to keep an eye on. Just side eye it a little bit.
What do you guys think about Trump saying tampon? Bullish or bearish?
Bullish,
Definitely.
very bullish.
Well, there we
Bullish
go.
for-
Oh, Jana, did you listen to Trump and Elon, or were you a good adult and went to bed?
No, I even posted that was the only reason for me to be up that late was because of that man, that those two boys in the host and co-host spot. I mean, was so good, so good, and I was just waiting for the tickers. Also, all the funny things that would be said. I can't wait to collect a lot of tampons on Sol, tone, all of that stuff. But yeah, I think I mean was amazing. I must say that was just amazing.
I love that. Like I love that you referred to them as two boys. Like that's exactly what it sounded like while they were out there. Was just like two people chatting back and forth. David, like what sense did you make of it?
What sense did I make of what? Trump saying tampon? That's all that I got from that entire thing.
All of it.
Like he's on my level.
I mean, I guess so. But like, what did you think, man? Like, give me your thoughts. Like, what did you think? Like, you listened to the whole thing. You're telling me that, like, literally, you just blacked out after he said tampon.
Nothing stuck out to you?
I mean, he said a lot of. Okay, I was kind of distracted. I'm looking at several different platforms at the same time while I am listening to see which words he says. I'm also on Polymarkets because as this thing goes on, the odds are going up and down. Like you could have got some things lower, some things higher, and I'm excited to do this live at one of these next ones. But look, I mean, I like what Trump said from a personal point of view. Like they went over a lot of issues. I wish that they would have brought crypto more front and center. One word that they missed of mine that I'm never gonna forgive Trump for until he says it because I'm gonna keep taking it. He didn't say Bitcoin K2. Let me down there, but he made up for it with the tampon.
I mean, yeah, I think largely it's, I wouldn't say it was a disappointment. I went into it with no expectations, so it's just like the humor part of it. Like when he was like talking about, like there were some cool, funny sound clips. Like honestly, I was just listening to it for the humor. I knew that there was going to be absolutely no value provided whatsoever. When he talked about it, he was like, Sleepy Joe's got a low IQ. You know what? He's got no IQ. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of funny. He thought that was kind of cool. Um, it's like the fun part was just like, sitting there like listening to it with my wife, and like she's not nearly as degen. So it's like listening, like watching the reactions of a rational, functioning human in society, is, that's kind of like my barometer of like how much I should and shouldn't laugh at these things. Like she's like my moral compass. And then, that way I just know like when to like rein it in.
K2, one of these days,
honestly,
I'm going to run into my neighbor. They're going to give me a funny look, and I'm going to know that they heard me scream tampon.
I mean, I could see you running up and down your street. Like that's the best way. Like, cause like you just moved into a new place, so like that's the best way. Now everyone thinks that you're like feminist and all of this stuff. So I think you should ride for that.
Right, I might get into some new circles up here.
I think so. You might actually be able to make what they call a friend. And those are, I know they're few and far between, but these are people that you can socialize.
Oh, K2, onboarding through tampons. Like that's a campaign right there. That's a bumper sticker.
So I think so. But what did you think about 10,000 meme coins on Pump Fund yesterday?
I was a bit disappointed. I thought it was going to be more. I want to see what the line for that one is on Polymarkets next time. I would have taken the over.
I like that. We've got the Pog intern, a campaign. I like that. That could turn into something. But I was actually really disappointed. There was no runners.
Yeah, I mean, Pump Fun slowed down. Like Pump Fun, a lot of people were thinking that with this new update, community features, there's more like chat abilities. They made it free. Not only did they make it free to launch one, but if it ends up getting to Radium, you get half a soul, which isn't that much, but it's still something. And didn't really have a big effect.
You know what? Okay, so I'm actually glad that our man Cryptovius is on here, because Cryptovius, I got to know from over in the UK, what are you guys trying to do? What kind of shit are you trying to pull over there? Writing letters to Elon, telling him to do that? Like, I am so happy that he posted that Tropic Thunder beam. Like, what the fun, please? This is
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, we're gonna
What's
give
going on?
Cryptovius
Now
the
I'm probably
same
gonna have
treatment as
people.
NFT founders, like or mods. When you work for any NFT community, you're obviously the founder. Cryptovius represents the entire EU government right now, so he's in the hot seat.
This is the same. You're gonna get the same treatment that David gives Starbucks baristas for rugging
Oh yeah,
the Starbucks
bro.
NFT.
Every barista is a rugger.
Exactly. So that means Cryptovius is against X and free speech. So, all right, man, what do you have to say for yourself?
Man, it's so nuanced. I'm on the fence with it. I don't agree with trying to extradite people to like the US or the UK, sorry, to like prosecute them. But everything's nuanced, because you can say some things and know, although it may not exclusively be hateful or racist or whatever um it may stir up those kind of emotions or lead people to feel as though those subjects that you're talking about are okay. I do feel as though people are a lot more sensitive to um I don't know, words or conversations, debates that they don't necessarily like agree with, and then they get all like triggered and stuff like that. I do feel as though we've kind of, our tolerance for the healthy debate and discussion has massively reduced. But then I do in the same breath feel as though social media portrays an unrealistic viewpoint of how things happen in the world. Like when the algorithm changed, all I was seeing was Olympic crap, like, oh, the prettiest athletes to compete in the Olympics, and loads of hate type or videos that would stir up negative emotions towards particular groups of people, be it whether you're white, black, Muslim, whatever, wherever you sit on the color spectrum, there's always videos that would stir up those kind of negative emotions. And I feel social media needs to kind of get a handle on that. But that's just my personal opinion.
So my question is then what does it feel like to live in the United States?
Say that again, sorry.
I said, what does it feel like to live in the United States? Everything that you
Yeah.
just said. That's how shit happens here in the US, man. So like you're telling me, so okay, so they're not like ripping people out of their houses, kicking and screaming for like budding and stuff like that. Like that's not it. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
see, the thing
oh,
is,
oh, oh, oh,
I
oh,
I
I heard
I
it.
I see videos like that on social media, like on X, but I don't know what the people in the videos have been alleged to have said or have posted. If it is just like a meme or something, then yes, I agree. It's super heavy-handed. But once again, some of these things, like these isms, be it sexism, racism, Islamophobiaism, and whatnot, they can sometimes be subtle, and that's what makes it hard to I don't moderate it or put a stamp on it, because sometimes you can say something that's really subtle that classifies as one of these isms, and it doesn't explicitly make you guilty, and in the minds of the person who's saying it, they know why they're saying it, but it can't be proven that they're saying it. So it's like your word against theirs, so on and so forth. So it makes it really, really tricky. So I don't agree with censoring free speech, because Rowan Atkinson, who plays Mr. Bean, he made a great speech, in my opinion, on why he's opposed to this section 5 something, which is related to censoring free speech. But it's so nuanced, it's really difficult to kind of explain in or get to the bottom of in the space of a sentence or two or even an hour, if that makes sense.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, I get it. Like now it's just like, so if anybody in the UK tries to FUD any projects, can I be like, I'm going to go straight to the government? You are inciting violence right now. Like, is that a thing? Like, can I do that? Is that like logical?
You know what? I wish that was a thing for people in the community that would fund projects. Like, oh, you guys are scammers, you guys are ruggers, blah blah blah. It's like, oh, you're inciting hate. Let me get you extradited to the
Yeah,
UK and get you arrested. That I
mm-hmm.
wouldn't mind. I'd be in favor of. That's a joke for anyone that's listening and doesn't get the sarcasm. Before I start getting my DMs blown up.
I mean, honestly, like, I could just see that, you know, like all of a sudden some days, like someone knocks on David's door, like, hello, how are you doing? Like, why don't you come with us, sir? You're gonna come across the pond, and then like they're just taking David like out, like kicking and screaming. He's like, "What
Oh
did I
no,
do?
they
What did I
won't
do?"
get
Sir.
me K2.
Sir, we found your 69 cousins, and you're like, "Oh shit."
Why are they English? Why are they English?
The UK. What do people from the UK sound
They
like?
sound like
I thought it
every
would be
Paul.
Americans that would knock on Dave's door.
No, but you can't to get extradited to the UK. People from the UK got to show up at David's door.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
what's
saying?
that?
Like,
What's that
seriously?
whole thing
Oh, right,
about?
okay.
Like, is that true? Like, if the UK wants to extradite you for some social media post, like they're gonna start doing that? That sounds kind of wild.
It's rumored to be that's what they want to do. It's like when all the 9/11 and terrorist stuff started happening, they created this terrorism act. I don't know what section it is, and so on and so forth, which basically allowed them to stop anyone that they thought was under suspicion of being a terrorist. And from my interpretation, it's something similar, but with free speech or speech. So if you're saying something that could be interpreted of inciting hate in some way, shape, or form, then they can,
Yeah, but they're doing it all
hold you
wrong. They're doing it all wrong. What they're supposed to do is launch their own pump fund platform and say that they will extradite any ruggers, any rugging devs. They're going to throw them in jail, and then see what happens
That's
when
what I'm
there is
saying.
a free-flowing meme coin economy.
That's, you know, just wait until you guys dabble in this world called microaggressions. Okay, that's what it's gonna be. It's just a whole big ball of wax. So anyway, Grim, did you want to do a Stream HQ announcement? Did you want to throw up a little bit of whack-a-mole?
You know, I love to do that. So everybody that's been following us, we are partnered with Stream HQ, latest Animoca incubator project. They're actually part of Animoca, to be honest, but it's like pretty big. And they create a system where you can have fun, interact with your spaces and spaces that you follow and listen to. And every day we do a stream drop. And today's stream drop is going live. I will tell you the code in a second. I just posted it now. I just need to remember it. It's 71.99. So it's Mixi 71.99. If you haven't registered already, you can do it directly with the link that I put in the Jumbotron at the top. You can actually do it now directly from mobile without leaving your X app, but you can also do it from PC with the extension. It's a bit longer, but there you go. Simple as that. I am going to launch it in around 30 seconds. So pay attention to the stream drop. And back to you, K2. I know you got some big stuff to talk about today.
Yeah. All right. So before we jump into it with our friends here at POG, we've got a big announcement here from the Mixi camp. So today we are launching, and it's actually live now, our very first game title on Telegram. So everyone knows Mixi owns the Mech.com IP. And so Mech is now going to be the official arcade of the Mixi game engine. So Mech.com will have all of the hyper casual games that we put out through Mixi before everybody has the ability to come in and make their own games using our generative AI game engine. And so today we are announcing the launch of our Match 3 game. So if you are somebody wanting to farm airdrops, get points, get lots of cool things, David, 3 years in the making, we did it. Mech is live, Mech.com. Check out our socials, check out our posts, jump in there, jump into Telegram, do all the things. It's going to be a pretty wild time, man. David,
oh man, 3 years. It's literally been crazy. I remember back 2022 when I started with you over here, and yeah, long time coming. Excited to get this one out, and we got a lot planned for it.
Absolutely. So the cool thing about this is, so the first iteration is our Match 3 game. So you'll be able to go in, you'll be able to play Match 3, connect points, win points, all these things. These points will aggregate, and they will ultimately result in an airdrop for the Mech token, as well as partner projects in the Mech ecosystem. So like all of the hyper casual games that you see in the Telegram ecosystem, we're going to have things like invite friends, share on the socials. We're going to be layering things more, creating more of a Candy Crush feel as we iterate the game more and more. But the game in its current fashion is very fun, man. We like match 3 games. Match 3 games are addicting. I know that I found myself playing this game for hours and hours and hours on end. So we are excited. Hey, it's cool to have the Pog guys here. Like, I bet you guys didn't realize that we were going to be announcing the launch of one of our games right now. So we're happy to share this moment with you. In history, we're doing this together. So we're going to have a lot of cool giveaways. We're going to be doing cool stuff. So one of the things, like, as you guys have heard us tease and talk about, we're very passionate about the TON ecosystem. We're very passionate about Telegram. And the reason for that is our games are going to be launching on Telegram. So we are going to be Mixi Media. The Mix Up is going to be working with a lot of TON projects to give exposure, to be a positive beacon in this community and help push the entire space forward. So we have even more announcements when it comes to our infrastructure project, Mixi, which is going to be coming out in several months. But before that, our arcade that is going to house not only this game, but we have other games as well that are going to be coming out for people to play, all of which is going to be facilitating the ecosystem. And so we're going to be partnering with projects, giving exposure to other projects. It's going to be really cool. We're super excited. This has been a long time coming. That's why we have our resident Jana in the house. She's been talking with us for several weeks. She's one of the most beloved people in the TON ecosystem, helping guide us on our journey. So this is exciting. I'm excited. This moment has been since 2021. I have been as one of the co-founders of this project for 3 years. 3 years this month is when it came out. And so it's just like we've had semi-good markets, we've had really bad markets, and now we're on the come up. And so if you would have told me 3 years ago that I'd be launching games on Telegram, I would have said you're crazy. But now I don't think I could be any more happy to be helping a growing ecosystem like that with an IP that means so much to myself and everyone else. Jana, talk to me.
Yeah, I just want to say some bullish stuff, and I mean, just amazing. I need to say that for sure. Talking about you guys, you have definitely a great ecosystem already, and the decision to have a little bit of that into TON, coming to TON, it is something remarkable, amazing. I have been talking about this in many spaces, like a lot of projects, a lot of ecosystem, they are looking away on how they can integrate TON and Telegram, because of course it's a fucking no-brainer, right? We need to do this. So I am so bullish and so excited. And I mean, I just so happy to be here, be part of this. Definitely there is so much potential into this chain, and there is so many projects that gonna be looking to collaborate and be doing stuff with you guys. So we have good times in front of us. I'm really excited for the future.
So cool. So cool. David, anything else before we jump into it with our friends at Pog?
No, I mean I'm sharing the same sentiment. I mean, getting it out there. I'm excited to dive into it with everybody. Can't wait to see what comes out of it this week. We got another Spaces right after with one of the partners, so going to be a busy day. And I mean, yeah, let's jump into it with Pog. I was just looking at my closet. I got a bunch of Pogs in there, guys. What's going on?
Still, that's cool. That's cool.
What up? Congratulations. Congratulations. That's exciting. We've been looking at TON, and we're really excited about just being here with you because my brother and I'll get into the story, but we've been looking for like game engine, AI that would help us to build video games and thinking about building our own and all that stuff. But so much better if we found you guys. So can't wait to try out the the pilot program if you'll let us in. Like we'll knock down the door. But yeah, congratulations on the TON game. We'd love to know more about that and actually maybe dive into some deeper conversations later about a little bit about what you'll offer on that platform as far as game developers being able to use your your platform to deploy.
100%. Like that part. Well, we can set up a call after that because that's exactly what we are going to be and how we're going to operate. And so we got something really cool. Yeah, like now we can actually talk about it, like what we're doing. Man, like, I am terrible at keeping secrets. I'm gonna tell you that. I am terrible at keeping secrets. That's why I have like 3 or 4 friends that are super close to me that we can talk about. But oh dang, now that's what I'm talking about. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Pog, what you guys got going on there? Because like that's fire. Dang.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go. We're just a group of developers that love the blockchain, and we've been building game develop stuff for like, almost a decade. We help build Unity, three of us, and then one of us is, I guess, he's the head of gaming at Solana Labs. One of our co-founders is the GM of NBA Top Shot, or she used to be, and now she's the head of collectibles at eBay. And then, my CTO helped build like the subnet of Shrapnel. So we've got a phenomenal development team, but we were lucky enough to reach out to Pog about 3 or 4 years ago, after a couple different things, and they were interested in co-founding a digital subsidiary under their business, and away we ran. We've been building this blockchain game stuff for almost 4 years now.
Dang, so like, what is it about Pog? So like, you guys have obviously an amazing pedigree, and you guys could have done anything, right? You could have done anything. Like, what is it about Pogs? What made you want to bring it to the blockchain?
Yeah, dude. Well, so when I was back at Unity, we ran into the biggest problem being that people didn't know how to build necessarily like economies for their games. They could build fun games, but trying to drive user base and all that stuff was a challenge. But nobody also could own any of their assets, so game developers couldn't really, they didn't outside of like, kind of a clunky asset store, it wasn't really an easy way for people to share their assets with each other. And so, player owned gaming came to the sense that like you can build a game, you can build assets for it, and people will buy them, but only the people who play that game. So if you're a World of Warcraft player, or if you're a Fortnite player, you'll pay for the things inside of those games, but other people out on the streets don't know the value of those things, so they're not very likely to buy them. The Pog brand has about 200 million collectors in the physical space already, and so to transition that kind of mentality to gaming makes a ton of sense because we already grew up that way. So anyways, the ability for like us to put pogs in games and so forth, and people to pull those out, and others to want to buy them even though they'll never play the game that they were found in, and then helping to onboard brands through that experience has kind of been, I think, the biggest reason that Pog has been successful so far, as a Web3 brand. But giving that ownership to players was the whole reason that we came to the blockchain, making sure that there was like validation, there was authentication, and all of that be transparent, and so the ownership piece, it required some kind of public ledger, and the blockchain's perfect for it.
Oh, that's so cool. So, um, I've got a couple questions on this. So, like, I drift, just kind of like adults drift away from Santa Claus. I drifted away from Pogs a little bit, and like, are they still doing their thing? Like, didn't they actually make a resurgence a little bit like a couple years ago? Am I right in my
Yeah,
thinking?
yeah, actually. Real quick, it was like a guy who
Hmm.
invented Armor All. He brought the brand from Hawaii over to the US in '93, turned it into the big thing that you knew. That guy's name was Alan Rapinski, and he partnered with everybody across the world from like, Sega to Nintendo to Nickelodeon and Disney and Marvel and McDonald's and Coca-Cola, all these big, big brands, right? And then he passed away, and the fastest man to become a billionaire, he bought the IP, he bought the brand, he bought Pog, all of it. And he made his money. He put $15 million into a company that he started, and they led the fiber optic cable across the Atlantic from the U.S. to England and to Europe, for the internet. And the dude he made like $2.5 billion in 18 months. And then he bought the Pog IP. He did some other things, and then my co-founder, bought a portion of that from him when we and then he kind of did the rebuild. Like he had this whole thing with Marvel that he did. I think he did something with like the French national soccer team for the UEFA Cup and KFC, and like, and then he got one of the biggest, well, the world's biggest actor, who's created a TV show, and all that stuff was already in the preparation and going. And he went to uh, the Breakpoint. He went to Solana Breakpoint, and then like he went the very first year they did it, 2021. And so when I reached out to him in like October 2021, he was super responsive, and he had just gotten back. And so he was ready to go. And dude, it's been super solid so far.
you guys actually own part of Pog. Like this isn't just some like, idea. Like you guys like are the like so you don't have to worry about like licensing or branding or anything like that. Like
No,
you guys are the
we
real
are
deal.
100% the actual brand, right? Like we are, as a subsidiary of the parent company, we've got the exclusive rights worldwide to build with the IP digitally, and to create physical products. And so all of that there's no contest. So we don't have to worry. Like we can deploy into Roblox. We've got some plans there. We've got a bunch of other things, but the Web3 stuff is definitely our key focus. Like we built a blockchain with Amazon and Theta Labs. Our enterprise validators for our blockchain are Google and Sony and Samsung and CAA. So yeah, we've proven that like the collectible game is something big for the 30 to 45-year-old, because we grew up with Pog playing it, and just like you were talking about, like so many people still have it, still have Pogs, and so it's a really funny way to bring kids and parents together through a Pog video game and through physical and digital collectibles. But it's definitely happening.
That's so cool. Like, like the phygital, I think, is like a lot of the words that people use, like being able to bridge both of those things. And so, um, I guess like when you have such a like wild machine at your disposal, um, what do you plan on attacking first? Like doing like in-store activations and similar to like Pudgy Penguins, where it has a link or something like that that we can connect to like a QR code that takes you to a game. Like how does that, like what's your approach look like?
Yeah, man, pretty much digital first, right? Like
Okay.
we're doing a deployment. I haven't really announced this yet, but we're going to be doing a drop with the Care Bears. So physical, digital
Oh,
Care Bears
dang.
Pogs in September, and if 130 of them are actual redeemable slammers, so you'll get like a 24 karat gold plated slammer, or a solid silver
Ooh.
slammer, with the Care Bears and the Pog logo. And we've done that. But anyways, we've got like the brands coming in, some of the top F1 racing company in the world, or one of the top three. They were top two in Britain. Anyways, I'm super big into F1, but anyways, so we will go digital first. So we want players to be able to, like, in our new arcade, we've kind of got a hub like you, that just opened, where people
Mhm.
can like farm points and get an airdrop, and you can play our game to earn points. You can refer people. You can mint NFTs. You can go a lot of different routes, and then just fulfilling social quests on YouTube and Twitter and so forth. But anyways, people will play video games first. They'll own the assets. We've got a Hollywood thing deployed. First film coming out in around November. It was created by Steven Soderbergh, the creator of Ocean's 11, and all of
Yeah.
those movies. So it's called Cold Wallet. And it's a crypto heist film coming out, and they use the Pog platform to like deploy rugged funds. It's like based on a true story where anyways. I'll let you check it out, but that's kind of the first deployment. And as the Hollywood stuff starts to like come out in 2025, 26, we'll go back into stores and bring back all those kids. Will probably come back as video games first through Roblox and through other stuff for young kids. But for the digital stuff, for the adult stuff, we're alive and kicking. We have collections on 6 blockchains. We were the first brand to create an ordinal, thanks to some of our community members. We've got Ethereum. Our arcade supports Ethereum and Solana and Theta and PogChain, as well as Polygon and one other. So we're super excited to be doing everything that we're doing, and really excited to meet you guys, because our whole mentality is we want to build Pog collectibles with great people, physical and digital, to like honor the legacy of collectibles and where we've come for a lot of our 30 to 45-year-olds, and then for the kids and so forth. But then to also provide that as a platform for people to play games. So we've deployed all of this, the assets and the smart contracts for the game, all under just 2 contracts. So all of the collectibles collectibles for our entire ecosystem, except for the legacy ones that have like special benefits sit inside the Launchpad contract. And then we've got our games, features, functions, and rules all in another. So you can actually build games and call different features from the smart contracts super easily.
So you mentioned like partnerships and stuff like that. The Care Bear partnership actually sounds super bullish. Like, how did that even? How Care Bears? Like, what? Like My Little Pony next? Like that actually kind of badass. Like, how did that
No.
come about?
Yeah, dude. Next, you're probably gonna see one of like the sickest car companies in the world, an F1, like top three race team, and then you'll see one of the top leagues in the world, bring some of their sports stuff and memorabilia, and then you'll see some of the biggest video game companies in the world come out with us. We did a Coca-Cola launch. We sold 400 Coca-Cola collectibles in an hour, raised about 100 million or $100,000. And so it's just kind of the beginning of transitioning these brands. We've been hit up by everybody from, like Starbucks, what's the Dunkin' Donuts, Iron Maiden, and you name it, from our old partners as well, Disney, Batman, Star Wars, Barbie, Pokemon, and so forth. And so it's super easy for Pog to get anywhere. The thing with Sega and with Sony Music and a lot of these Japanese companies that don't understand the blockchain is that we can come to them with collectibles we made with them in the 90s, and we can say, hey, we made these with you. Now we're making them digitally, and we're going to be distributing them through gameplay and through, and it is the fastest they've ever been able to grasp kind of a digital database type play, or distributed database type play, and so they're open to it. And we don't have to explain blockchain, NFT, anything. It's a digital collectible. It sits on a digital database called PogChain. And it's just like the hop has been so easy to make with this brand, to digital collectibles. uh, I think our intern has something to say too, but I'll let you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks.
intern, fire away,
Ye-
Pog intern.
I think too, like just going off what Kyler's saying, the continuity of the company is what's really appealing. It's been there. Its nostalgia's at all time highs. We're appealing to the degen side of Web3, but also we have so many collectors that they're not concerned about cashing out at the highs or worried about pump fund type things. They're buying into this ecosystem for the build out, the continuity, the brands that are coming on, and I think that's the really exciting thing is that we're getting the blend of both, and we're really refining the way that we're approaching all the releases and the way that we're appealing to the Web3 crowd, as well as these brands that come on and just making that seamless transition for everyone. It's been an exciting process.
You know, I've asked so many questions, but when did this project in this iteration start? Like when you decided to do that? How long ago? Like a year, 2 years ago? How long has this been cooking?
Yeah, dude, this has been almost like 8 or 9 years, something like that. So I found crypto in 2012. I told this intern this story a million times, but anyway, so I found crypto, found Bitcoin 2012, started mining Bitcoin through ASIC rigs, these like Butterfly Labs, and then watched like the cryptos be born, basically, from Dogecoin being a joke to Ethereum and Engine Coin and Decentraland and like all of these others as they started to come through. And in 2017, so that's what got me into Google, and like uh, got to lead and ended up leading like a handful of years later blockchain research at Unity after helping build their first machine learning team. And then we built out connected gaming for like 5 million developers. We built out cloud platforms, which was like a service platform. So we've been supporting game developers for a very, very long time, and the ability for us to give them like a scalable ecosystem of like economy that they could put into their game hasn't been really readily available. And so this is now the best iteration for that. Yeah, so that's really where it all came about, was like the need to solve two problems, like playability and interoperability, like be having a collectible or something that could carry value throughout a number of different ecosystems, whether it's like the NHL or Barbie, or whether it's like some Space Invader game or some very basic arcade games or whatever it might be. And then we also had to have like I guess the demand from real collectors who didn't care where it came from, and that's why the Pog brand has been so like important, because it's already got 35 years of people's passion, right? Like when you start to talk to like a crypto boomer who's 30 to 45 about their Pog collection, they will like, there's so much nostalgia and energy and history all built up in that conversation that like it really leads to the digital collectible side conversation so well. The passion for Pogs carries over, and like it's something that people can kind of come back to and still celebrate the future. And it just really is just this amazing collectible. And the beautiful thing about Pog is that 50% of the collectors are female, 50% are male. That's why the Care Bears thing is so big, and like crypto Web3 has been so big for us. But now we've built this platform where all you have to do is log in with an email, and you can start collecting Web3 collectibles on any of the blockchains that we mentioned. You can collect coins and use those and buy things, and have all of these experiences all through email and custodial wallets. So now Care Bears, their biggest demographic is the 30 to 45-year-old female, and now we have something that they don't need to know how to have MetaMask, Phantom, anything. Like our arcade, our launchpad supports 11 different wallets. We support 100 different cryptocurrencies. You can buy collectibles in Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, ApeCoin, ETH, Bitcoin, all those, as well as cash on Cash App and Apple Pay and credit card, debit card. So like there's literally zero boundary now, or barrier of entry for people to collect Pogs again. And that's why I think the Care Bears Pog thing really does speak to both demographics who grew up with the brand. So yeah, it's been cooking for a really, really long time. We started this project after I got to help build Rivian. We IPO'd Rivian in November of 2021, and that's the same month that we posted our white paper. And then we had our first game playable then, like the demo, and so we minted our first collection in June of 2022, and our ordinals the year after. So just about 18 months ago or something like that now.
Oh man, that's awesome. Have some of these companies that you're working with, I mean, everybody is thinking those are the companies we need in Web3. That's who we need talking about crypto. Are you guys talking to them? Like all these big brands you're working with, are you guys or like one of the companies that they come to and ask about the industry?
I don't think they know before the conversations happen. So one thing, luckily, we've partnered with Theta Labs, and Theta Labs is a 2017 blockchain. They were the first proof of stake blockchain that was made, and they've been super successful. And through them, we've met a lot of people. They introduced us to we went to a couple conferences in Los Angeles and London, and they introduced us to the biggest executives. So like it was hosted, the first one was in LA, hosted at CAA, and we had all of their like executives at the biggest brands and biggest companies, from Roblox to Netflix to Nike, and Sony Music. And luckily we were able to give like an explanation of what was happening there and why crypto gaming is so important. And it was a hit. It was a massive hit both times we gave the talk. And so we've made phenomenal relationships with new brands that want to explore into the digital front. They want to create collectibles. They want to be in video games. They really, really want to be seen as a digital forward company. And a lot of these brands, they appeal to adults, but maybe not to the cutting edge tech sector. And so that's why we're a really good onboard ramp for them for a lot of these fun IPs and things that get people excited. So yeah, dude, it's been super solid.
Oh man, that's awesome. Vice, I see you got your hand up. What's going on?
Yeah, I love Pogs. I grew up with them.
That's it. You just want to come up here and say
Favorite
you love
slammers.
Pogs? I mean, we all love
Everyone's got a
Pogs.
favorite.
You're rugging a little bit.
He loves Pog. We know that. This is important.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I feel his passion.
He sounds like we paid him. It sounds like AI that we just like planted, and it's like ah. I love
True.
Pog. No, dude, we got to get you some slammers, some new slammers, bro.
Look, AI loves
We have some
Pogs too.
24 karat golden slammers.
AI is people too.
Let's go. AI is persons.
All right, everybody. This is coming up on the hour. I want to say thanks again, Kyler, for coming out. Both of you guys from the Pogs team. This was awesome. I mean, look, I've known about Pogs longer than I've known about crypto, and there aren't many things that I can remember that far back with all this poly markets and pump fun action going on. So, I want to thank you guys again for coming. All the listeners for coming out. Everybody who joined us today. We'll see you at the next Mixie Mix Up tomorrow, 9 to 10 a.m. EST. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
I wanna take you on. I know I can. I'm in love with you. If you just let me, baby, make a move. Step across the line. Touch me one more time. Come on, baby. I wanna take you on. I know I can do. I'm in love with you. If you just let me, let me, let me, let me, let me, let me, let me. Baby, make a move.